Hi everyone, welcome to my first lesson on slide guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to be presenting you the essential techniques of slide guitar playing. In particular, I'm going to be presenting you 5 licks that hope to coordinate your left hand slide guitar technique as well as your right hand playing and muting technique. Now at the end of the lesson, I'm going to be having a very quick word about a very underrated aspect of slide guitar playing, which is your vibrato and the control of it. Now these licks are going to be played in open E, and for those who don't want to tune the guitar to standard tuning, I've presented these licks on a standard tuned guitar. So let's get to it. Okay, we're here with lick number 1. Let's take a look at the right hand technique and the left hand technique a little bit closer. Now I'll kind of talk you through the process. The key aspect of slide guitar playing is to control your muting. Now, how do I control the muting, especially playing with fingerstyle? Now, one of the key ways to do it is to control your string muting and your playing with using your thumb or your index or your middle finger. Now, look at the way my fingers are rested on the strings. In this particular lick, the first lick is going to be played on the G string, right? And I'm going to have my thumb resting on the G string because I'm going to be playing that first, followed by my first finger on the B string. And then the third finger is going to be resting on the E string just to control the muting. Now, let's play the first lick. You can see that there's an immediate cycling between the fingers where I played over here first, followed by my first finger right there. And then the middle finger is controlling the muting here. Take a look at that one more time. Now let's take a look at the second part of this lick, right? Watch, our fingers are now going to be shifting down, right? Now the thumb is going to be resting on the B string, followed by the middle finger, rather the first finger on the E string. Same technique applies. Take a look at that again. Very cool. Keep practicing that. That is the key aspect of fingerstyle slide guitar playing. So good luck. Try that one more time. Let's do that a little bit slower, because it's a pretty important technique to kind of get down. Lick number 2 is a natural extension of lick number 1, whereby we now focus on using all 3 of our fingers to make that characteristic rake sound popularized by Derek Trucks. Let's take a look. Again, it's the same technique where I position my thumb, my index finger, as well as my middle finger on the strings in question. Now, I'm going to be performing that rake-like sound using the D string on D string, G string, as well as the B string. Let's take a look. All right, you see when I did that, okay, my thumb are kind of cascading down the strings essentially. This thumb now is muting this particular string. This string is going to be ringing. This string right now is being muted by my my ring finger right here. So let's take a look. That's that characteristic sound that we should try to get. Now, how do you practice it? Just do it slowly, little by little. Let's try that one more time. Try that again. Let's try that one more time. One more time. Slightly slower. Let's do one more time, shall we? Okay, so lick number 3 is an extension of lick number 2. We're going to be working on that raking technique. Now, let's take a look at it again. Okay, so it's that characteristic cascading like feel using your thumb, index and your middle finger. Let's try that slower. That wasn't that slow. Let's try that again. You saw that? So essentially, it is a cascading technique. No need to do anything here. You hit with your index finger for the next round, and then thumb. And notice my fingers are planted on the strings. They're not moving anywhere. They're not dangling here and there. They're always concerned about muting the strings adjacent to it or adjacent to the notes that I'm playing. So we'll do that one more time. Okay, great. Let's move on to lick number 4. One more time. So lick number 4 is a extension of lick number 3, naturally. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be introducing a little bit of attitude into our slide guitar playing. Now this lick was taken off one of Derek Truck's solos, and I put a link and a timestamp of it in the YouTube description below. So you can kind of get an idea of what's the context behind this lick. Now, this lick is, it starts off on the 5th fret. And again, uses the rake technique that I taught in the previous 2 licks. Let's go for it. Okay, so let's do that even slower. First we got that rake technique. And we start to then go into that note from that, counting from that 5 times. Okay, because it's in a 6/8 type of count. Okay, and you notice that the last one I hit it with my middle finger. Let's try that again. To get that octave, rather that note there, you'll notice that I play with my middle finger on the B string, and then I use the thumb to hit the D string. So let's try that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First finger with that. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try that one more time. One more time, I'll do that a little bit slower. Lick number 5 is a little bit of a tricky one, but I was thinking of including this particular lick because it is a very fun lick, and once you kind of get this down, you'll want to start to explore all aspects of the fretboard. Now again, this lick was taken off one of the same Derek Trucks solos that was taken off previously for the previous lick. I've included the timestamp of it below, and just for you to also kind of get an indication of the context of this particular lick, especially played on a 12-bar blues. So again, it starts off with that rake. Whoops, sorry, I should move a little bit closer. So again, it starts off with that rake. Okay, and then I use my middle finger. I'm trying to get all these guys into the frame. So let's try that again. So just to reiterate, I'm using my middle finger to play the E string. Let's try that again. Notice my thumb is muting this B string and all the strings above it. Middle finger. So when I move up to the top string, I start to use my index finger as well as my thumb, right? So let's try that again. Okay. Now, others would prefer to use their index finger all the way through. Now, how would you approach it? Let's try it. Definitely possible. So again, it's a matter of exploring and trying out, and of course experimenting with your fingerstyle technique along with the slide guitar technique. All right, a quick note on vibrato. As I alluded at the start of the lesson, as well as during the licks, sometimes as slide guitar players, we kind of overuse vibrato. When I went to learn slide guitar in India with Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya, when I started to play and when I started to show exactly what I was doing, I relied on vibrato a lot. That really heavy vibrato, wide vibrato, Elmore James type of style. And Guruji kind of mentioned and looked at me, he's like, why are you using so much vibrato? And I said, well, it's so good, it's amazing, I feel great. And he's like, don't use it too much. And he said, vibrato is like KFC. When we eat KFC, it's great. It's immediate rush, obviously it's fantastic and things. But when we can't have KFC all the time, it becomes sickening. And he alluded to that wide vibrato when we play and use it all the time, it becomes a little bit too much for the ears to handle. Now, Derek Trucks also kind of alluded to this as well. In one of the videos, and I'll put it down below as well, he directly said that sometimes he prefers not to use any vibrato at all. So as slide guitar players, and when we're starting off slide guitar, one of the most important aspects is to watch your vibrato. When we ease into that note, there's that natural tendency to really, really go wide. Because as guitarists, we're so used to that tactile sensation. We're able to control it by through bending, through whatever, hammer-on pull-offs, you name it. But when we start to lose that feeling and all of a sudden we have this bottle on our fingers, our brain and our arm starts to kind of freak out. It's like, oh, we have no idea. Let's start doing crazy stuff, right, with it. So with this particular lesson, I wanted to kind of introduce that whole aspect of slide guitar playing, starting to get your left hand kind of working, as well as your right hand technique, using your thumb, your index, as well as your middle finger. And probably the most important of it all is your vibrato. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. Hopefully see you guys very soon with a couple more lessons on slide guitar playing.